Thanks for tuning in. This time we buy old NASCAR Cup Car, and Stonewall's been nothing but reliable, so I'm going to cut it apart. Done filming for the day, and now the engine is leaving. The 5.3, it's had its last ride, and I broke an axle on the last day. So Cory's getting it, and it's been a good motor. I've been doing some cutting. Stonewall's gone under the knife. As you can see, there's no cross member in there. Told you I've been unhappy with the front suspension, I think. Maybe not. I don't know, but I'm not happy with it. It doesn't steer good. Power steering hasn't been working well. So cutting the whole thing apart, seeing about what I can do to fix it. I've got a sweet, literally a sweet power steering rack that I'm planning to put in this thing, and maybe turn the S14 knuckles around backwards to make it front steer. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll find out. In case you've never seen how Stonewall actually is put together in the front end, that's the lower control arm, Wise Fab. As you can see, the subframe would usually go right there. I've adapted the, it's hard to see, but the Mopar ball joint there to a Mopar, like kind of a MacGyver deal to bolt up to the S14 knuckle. Got a true coilover upper A arm. I made those mounts, so it's pretty wild. All right, so I'm on the ground, working on Stonewall, and I'm figuring out some suspension things, doing some math. I wasn't always a good mather, but I do it okay now. I think I'm going to cut up the Wise Fab kit, so I'll show you what I mean. So before, like I showed you, this was all rear steer, which means it was steering from this side. The steering rack was on the back side of the subframe. I think I'm going to switch that up. I think I'm going to put the steering rack on the front subframe, which means it needs to be able to steer from the front side of the Wise Fab kit. So I actually took the whole left side and put it on the right side, and the right side and put it on the left side. So this is the whole right side kit now. I'm on the driver's side. You can see this is where it's going to steer from. So it's front steer now. And this is my lower control arm, which if it's front steer, if you had it the opposite direction, it would be in the way of the steering. So I'm going to be taking that whole tension rod bracket and everything off. And that leaves me with what I want to do with this. So obviously there's no mount back here, stock, to mount to. So went to Summit, got some stuff. Not sure exactly what I'm going to use, but I think I'm going to make a bracket there, and I think I'm going to cut that in half and move it around the way I want it to work. So nothing like cutting up $1,000 worth of suspension. Should be fun. All right, I'm here at the shop, and we're finally pulling the engine out of the Cup Car, get started on the new project that we'll be showing you shortly. So without further ado, he's helping me. Out.
I worked really hard for you. So
2 minutes and we're out. I'm pretty happy.
I'm used to that.
We didn't tear anything up. I was worried about tearing the front of the body up or dropping the engine, as I always am when an engine is suspended 4 to 5 feet in the air, because it's a really expensive thing to drop. All right, the Cup Car stripped, somewhat out of the way. Time to show you what this thing's going in. As many of you may have guessed, I've ripped the heart out of Stonewall. It's going in Cory Cox's truck. That leaves an empty engine bay and we have to fill it. what better than a Dodge R5 P7? There's been a lot of people that didn't like that this thing had an LS in it, so now it's time to change that. So behind me, the engine is sitting in the car. I haven't done a whole lot yet, but I did make the trans mount, so it's coming along pretty cool. I'm really excited. This is probably the coolest thing I've ever done, I think. So I'm going to show you a couple things. I'm about to weld in my motor mount. You can see it's built on an engine plate as opposed to like standard style LS mounts that would connect like down there somewhere. So that's what's happening right now. I'll show you the That's welded. Now I have to figure out how to make the other one. The other one's a little more confusing. I'll show you. All right, this is what I came up with. Still a little hot. Basically, it's going to sit right down in there. Bolt up right there. So I'm going to weld it in. That it's still a mess, but the 358 Dodge R5 P7 is sitting in Stonewall. Got a lot of work to do, but I'm hoping sometime in maybe the next 2 weeks we'll hear it fire off, maybe even with a boom tube. We'll see. Stay tuned.